In the early 20th century, Europe was a stage of monumental changes, each decision and action resonating through the political landscape with the power to alter the course of history. As World War I raged, the ancient dynasties that had once ruled unchallenged were being tested. In the midst of it all, a tragedy unfolded that remains a subject of great speculation and debate: the fate of the Russian royal family, the Romanovs. King George V of Britain and Tsarina Alexandra of Russia were first cousins, a familial connection that often leads to romanticized ideas about the bonds between royal families. It is tempting to envision King George as a loving relative who lamented the impending doom of the Romanovs and sought to rescue them from their dire fate. However, this perspective overlooks the complex and multifaceted realities of the time. Perhaps the most significant challenge to any rescue was the series of practical difficulties. Initially, the Romanovs were moved from their opulent palace in Tsarskoye Selo to Tobolsk, a remote Siberian town, before finally being taken to Ekaterinburg in the Urals. At each step, their situation became more precarious and their movements more restricted. A rescue, therefore, was not simply a matter of arranging a carriage or ship. It required precise logistics and coordination, made all the more perilous by the sphere of war in which Europe was engulfed. Adding to the complexity of a potential escape were the political risks. Public sentiment in Britain harbored a simmering hostility towards the Russian imperial family, fueled by stories of their opulence and perceived despotism. Allowing the deposed royals asylum threatened to taint George V's reputation at home and provoke unrest within Britain. In tumultuous times, even a monarch had to weigh his decisions against the balance of political power and public approval. Decisions of such magnitude were not solely in the hands of the king. The British government, under Prime Minister Lloyd George, played a crucial role. Initially, asylum was offered to the Romanovs following a request from the Russian Provisional Government after the February Revolution of 1917. Yet, as the Bolsheviks gained ground, the concern shifted to whether harboring the Romanovs would inflame domestic tensions within Britain or complicate relations with the new Russian regime. This hesitation became more pronounced, and the offer was quietly shelved as the political landscape shifted beneath their feet. Compounding these challenges were the actions of Tsar Nicholas II and his family. Constantly moved under the watchful eyes of the Provisional Government and subsequently the Bolsheviks, the window for any effective rescue was swiftly closing. There was a brief period after their initial confinement when escape might have been possible, but the Romanovs' own moves made such a mission increasingly untenable. Perhaps one of the most tragic elements of the story was the underestimation of the danger by British officials. A belief lingered, perhaps naively, that the Romanovs would remain safely imprisoned rather than face execution. This miscalculation proved fatal, sealing their fate. In examining these facets of history, it is a misconception to say that King George V merely cancelled a rescue operation. The decision-making process involved a web of complications and strategic assessments, each laden with risk. The rapidly changing dynamics in Russia and the broader geopolitical landscape left little room for maneuver. Ultimately, the complex intersection of logistics, politics, and family ties proved insurmountable, leading to a tragedy that echoed far beyond the walls of Ekaterinburg, forever marking a poignant chapter in the annals of history. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more royal history at your fingertips.